Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the former world champion Terran in the blue. It's Micro Jackson, ByuN, facing off against the rank 1 Protoss in the red, of course, a hero. In a best of 5 Terran versus Protoss showdown, the grand finals to the newest iteration of the Monday Night Weekly Cup, and both these players waking up at 3 a.m. Korean time and fighting their way through. So hopefully you'll also get in early by smashing that like button and maybe even subscribe. Oh, we gotta be algorithm. And Jimmy, what do we have? Don't cringe. 1,824 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. As the first Reaper comes back, the probe managed to slip its way around. But Hero kind of successfully delayed the first command center just a little bit. And ByuN with 2 gases obviously has some aggressive intentions. But I'm very interested to see these two titans of chaotic StarCraft 2 face off. Again, the Adept, a couple taps on the shoulder. And the Reaper, a little bit late on turning it, but eventually turns around and now going to dodge the follow-up. A shield battery back at home. So Hero hedging his bets somewhat. And for some reason, I feel like he's a gambler, but shield battery and knowing that ByuN likely has some aggression coming. Oh, he saw the command center. The command center was slightly off. Well, I guess he walked up with the Adept. If there was just a shade, but Hero just stuck his actual face into that spot. The Reaper boxed out and knocked out and completely denied. Does not see the Twilight, does not see any additional gates, does not pass go, does not collect 200 minerals. Hero is actually doing the most standard fare, which is actually a little unstandard from him. But it's Blink and a Robo. So exactly what you might expect in this matchup from a sane player. And Hero likes to cosplay one on occasion. And in this case, the cheesiest thing you could do might be the most standard, as ByuN is clearly charting a bit of a different course with a Raven first out of the starport. A Raven makes sense, but a Raven before a medevac, a Raven before a Liberator, or even a Banshee? Does he think it's a DT rush? The Raven has only limited potential, but its greatest strength is one, denying early detection and providing it itself, as well as something that is almost impossible to actually chase down. But a Raven first? So, going to be covered. Maybe you saw that series against Clem not too long ago, where Clem tilted. So, fun fact, in this tournament, Clem just played Protoss. Not just against Terran, but in general. And he lost in PvP. I think it was to Creator. I'm not 100%. But, so, Hero beat him so hard last week that Clem switched fully to Protoss. At least this week. So, that is, some strong feelings there. But ByuN, his metaphorical father, the micro Terran, and not ashamed of it, has stuck by his guns and his stim and more stim for most of his career. The Cyclone will be chased down as a masterful bait with the Adept allows him to drag it out. He got the Adept, but losing the Cyclone means he lost a lot of opportunity to deal with this Warp Prism early on. The Raven's back here to help defend, but he slurps up the Stalkers right before the Siege Tank can fire a shot. And already Hero is asserting map control. A few Stalkers at the front. Observer coming around, but the Stalkers slipping into the mineral line and might be able to finish the work. The probe started. Hero's probe actually softened up a couple SCVs. You know what? Gets a couple kills. And leaves some for later. And there's no easy way, because that Cyclone was taken out. Oh, but the double auto turret! He target fires, was a little bit late on it. And the Warp Prism will survive for now, because ByuN's Warp... Whoa, the Viking, oh no! It's a disaster! For a moment, it looked like ByuN wasn't going to hop to it, but the Viking knocks out the Warp Prism with all 4 Stalkers inside, and what was a small victory just became what some might characterize as a glaring defeat. But Hero, just another opportunity to showcase his unique style of Protoss. Behind it, we got Immortals in production. The third base being saturated. Storm is on the way, as the Templar Archives is already done. tries to step into the natural, but a siege tank, a bunker, and a couple marauders will make that a precarious endeavor. A third command center is up. That's the command center spot. All right, that's where the command center's spot. Billy, could you ever build a command center anywhere else? This is the correct spot. Okay. His interests are very special. I heard that. I know. Sorry. Well, the Stalkers, not nearly enough to compete with this, but might be able to poke and prod and risk everything to kill off a Marine or two. But wait, another Warp Prism. We got to keep count, as it feels like it's going to be one of those sort of series with hero, where Warp Prism's life expectancy is measured in seconds as opposed to minutes. And, well, Warp Prism number 2, come on down. The Vikings should be able to take it out, but not before the charge lots get on top of the siege tank. ByuN already had most of his units back at home. Wasn't even going for the attack. The Prism on the run. The Viking is around the same speed. The Marines, it's so close. Really? And he escapes. Well, yes. There and back again. A Warp Prism story. Well, the Prism lives. The Raven drops an auto turret or 2 and 3 probe kills on hero's side of the map, but he still has a slight worker lead. And Storm is done, by the way. I think hero took a moment to realize that. A missile turret gonna get in on the action. ByuN stimming every which way. Hero remembering that upgrades are a good skill to have, and double forge in production. But ByuN just sitting back and kind of, I mean, he knows hero probably better than almost anyone. Knowing that hero sometimes can't help himself when it comes to the aggression. And if ByuN just sits back, eventually hero will come to him. A 4th Nexus is on the way, though. And hero, he can get away with both things. He can expand and attack. And if you get enough economy, you can do both simultaneously and repeatedly. So the Raven is making its way back home. Or is it? The auto turret already queued up, but ByuN micros it at the last second. Or the Zealots will stare menacingly. Come down here! They think very loudly. The Raven hears nothing, and I also think the Raven is a machine, but that doesn't... Oh, what a cover! Uses the charge lot to cover for the siege tank fire to get the storms. Only 5 SCVs killed, but the execution there... Still, the Raven watches menacingly, as do the Zealots. Says select all army, or is he just bringing it home? Either way. Still, the Zealots just right-clicked on the Raven. He gets behind the Mineralon. The Stalkers... Really? Okay, but this is going to continue. I thought we could stop talking about it for now, but no, the Raven story will continue. Meanwhile, ByuN, kind of setting back at home. Has he decided he's a turtle Terran? I mean, it's not unheard of for ByuN. He usually tries to get the aggression early, but he did start the game with a defensive Raven, which only ended up on offense after all the aggression was shut down, and the Warp Prism was unceremoniously killed. Finally, the Raven gets Edgar Allan Poe'd, and did he scout the double Robo? He did. The Robo Bay is kind of implied at this stage, but it seems like ByuN, who's done no real aggression at all, this is how you gotta do it. This is best case scenario. He's actually just playing defense. This is full Porcupine Terran, where you just sit back and hope that you can take 4 or 5 bases and just play defense. If you attack it, oh my, the charge lot's kind of streaming over, but most of them will retreat before getting gunned down, and Hero's starting to realize the situation. Hero starts a Stargate. Wild. Is he actually gonna go sky? He's already got air weapons on the way. Hero, the champion of direct strike Protoss, the repeated waves of Zealots just breaking over and over against the Terran army, has decided that he's going for the high-tech option, which I don't think I've seen Hero do for months. Occasionally he'll whip it out, but not everybody wants to see it. And oh my, a fleet beacon is called in. The beacon is lit, and Hero calls for aid from the Sky Toss Armada. 4 Stargates. He's not going to send wave after wave slowly drifting across, but instead, Tempests, dare I say carriers, and a mothership seems almost implied. But ByuN is effectively maxed out. He's had no intention of moving out. It's not a no-rush situation, as hero obviously made his efforts, but ByuN, 4 bases. He needs at least 4. The idea here for ByuN is to be such a hardened turtle shell that it becomes impossible to attack almost at all, but even if you do, almost ludicrously cost efficiently. Between missile turrets and liberators and ghosts and Vikings and planetary fortresses and the fact that Terran doesn't really require as much supply, especially in workers, a scan will spot the main base, which sees nothing. He does not see the Stargates. 4 carriers are in production. Hero in a split from every style, and on the other side. Actually, you know, we'll give it a fusion core. Hero with 4 carriers at a time, already starting +2 air weapons. And very importantly, ByuN scanned the main looking for a switch like this. Kind of surprised, probably. Ooh, the EMP is getting maximum radius. Lines up some snipes with the Ghost as well. That Storm's, I think, doing more damage to the... Yeah, Hero killed 2 Zealots. ByuN killed 13. Hero killed 1 Marine. So, I like how it counts as Hero getting 200 resources there. Wait, what? Did he just shoot his own Ghost? ByuN! Well, oh, it wasn't an accident. He's literally slaughtering his own units to build more Vikings. Did he get a scan on the fleet beacon or something? Hero is building surprise carriers. I can't remember the last time someone's actually pulled this off. Sometimes we'll see carriers, but it feels like a desperate situation where they have to work. But instead, Hero will be showing up with at least half a dozen carriers. And ByuN's clearly getting suspicious. He hasn't built any Liberators. He's building Mass Viking, which it seems very much like he suspects the air switch. Hero is remarkably passive. Yes, attacking repeatedly is passive for Hero. A scan in the main. Still nothing there. Let's see if he has the intellectual curiosity to think maybe he put his tech somewhere else on. Gestures wildly to the entire map. There are 6 carriers. And a mothership is on the way. If he scans the natural, things are gonna get weird. The fact he keeps scanning the main, like that's the only... That's so Terran-centric. Like, look at ByuN's main base. This Factorio setup over... He's got 8 racks. He's got 4 starports. The Industrial Revolution, but all concentrated here. But Hero built... He has 4 Stargates. There we go. The fateful scan. He sees it. He sees 4 Stargates. He sees a 2nd Cybercore. And if he was looking close, he saw the mothership warping in on the Nexus. Yeah. Things getting a little more dramatic here. +2 air weapons, and Hero, he's been scouted and he's maxed out. This is the army. 2-2 upgrades for both, well, 3-2 on the ground for Hero with +2 air weapons. ByuN just finished +3. Feedbacks, EMPs, exchanging fire. Now, the carriers have to launch their interceptors to be particularly effective. Is he shooting his own CVs on purpose? Ooh. High Templar, very vulnerable to bullet-type attacks. He keeps shooting his own units, as Marines and Marauders aren't dying quickly enough in the fight. They are just not nearly as good here as, obviously, Vikings and Liberators. But here we go. Hero going forward, trying to launch as many interceptors as possible. The ground army just melting. Even a single Liberator helping out dramatically. He actually snipes the High Templar with the Liberator. Time warp, though. Hero just carving his way forward. The active cloaking forcing constant scans. Not a huge issue when you have 7 orbital commands. The Vikings chasing. He pre-calls, and he knocks out. That carrier lived. The carrier who lived. It has 11 HP. Tempests are on the way. Much more guaranteed damage, because the very simple issue is you can't fling your carriers, you can't fling your interceptors out of the carriers fast enough. And when they kind of dribble out piecemeal, nobody's satisfied with that. So The Tempest much more guaranteed damage, though a lot more vulnerable to direct fire as well. A mix of Tempests and Carriers, as hero builds the strongest Protoss army, known to man, Protoss, and Zerg alike. Hero's at 81 probes, 79 SCVs for ByuN, and he got that fateful 5th base. The 5th base. If he's able to move out and hold on to this, he's going to have double planetary fortress. Do we have tectonic destabilizers? Not for the Tempest yet. Hero going mass cannons. The cannons per minute is already well over 1. Same with the turrets. We got 26 cannons, 8 shield batteries. Meanwhile, ByuN is putting up a vanguard of turrets. The probe scouts this base. I don't think he saw it before. But the double planetary. Tectonic destabilizers is on the way. High-sec auto-tracking for turret and planetary range. We'll see if Hero decides to split off the mothership in order to have a tactical recall. But shooting down his own medevacs now. I feel like ByuN has killed more of his own units than Hero has throughout this game. Units lost doesn't really tell the story because I'm pretty sure... Wait. I saw ByuN shoot his own medevac. It didn't show up in units lost. I guess it wasn't lost. It was decommissioned. Violently. So that's different somehow. Well, here we go. The Vikings. A single volley knocks out a Tempest. The Ghosts. EMP. Oh, there's no observers, but he gets the revelation. The EMP washed over a couple of the Templar, but he still has several Storms ready. Storm's a great historical and practical counter to the Vikings. The Vikings dancing around, some of them in autumn colors. Another volley. Storm zoning out. There's a bio army in the center of the map trying to efficiently get rid of his Marines. The Storms soften up everything. A recall back to deal with this. So the awkward part of ByuN's army is how do you actually do a ground attack? Do you drop the Vikings? He has a bunch of Liberators and Vikings. He can't really deal with... Hero built so many shield batteries. The staging area here. That's... Nuclear missiles. Duh. Obviously. Well, here we go. Why didn't... Yeah, the Bronze Leaguers in the comments. Like, obviously, to deal with... Those Viking volleys are absolutely devastating. He has to be careful to target fire, otherwise he'll waste all his shots on the interceptors, though. And again, the Ghosts. Oh, the EMP! It's on the Templar! It's now! It's time to go! Every single Templar wiped out. The mothership nearly knocked down. The mothership has 5 HP. The Tempest shelling through the missile turrets. A small bio army to the north. There are way too many cannons, though. Hero has 30 cannons and 27 shield batteries. This is just disgusting. You thought the Terrans were a little excessive when it came to the turtling, but Hero is taking... You know, when Hero does something, he doesn't half-ass. He full asses. The Venn diagram of freedom is taking out everything on the ground, but Hero focuses his fire finally. Knocks out the Liberators before the Colossi themselves can get taken down. ByuN trying to hold the line. The Vikings being produced en masse. Hero doesn't have that much in the bank, but ByuN has less, and he's not maxed out anyways. And the thing is, these units cannot be repaired unless the SCVs turn their coat. Meanwhile, ByuN's units, of course, can be. But more Stalkers warped in as the tech starts to dwindle. Hero has quite an income. I thought he had a much larger lead, but apparently not. He has 79 probes, though they might be distributed poorly. I'm not sure why his income is... Oh, more shield batteries! He's got a little shield battery rest stops. And why not? And why not? There are only 100 minerals. It's better than... Hero's like, how do I avoid sending 300 zealots to their death every game? 50 shield batteries is still a relatively cheap price to pay. Each shield battery is a zealot he didn't send to his death. We'll see if that screws him by the end. The Tempest, the destabilizers, ripping through that extra building damage. Very helpful, but not helpful enough to take out this planetary. Which, the repair stacking up, but repair is only 1/4 the cost. 5 Archons being added in. ByuN!
This better be good.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, ByuN is struggling. He can't get too close. He has 9 orbital commands. He shouldn't have too much of an issue closing, or at least having scans, but his Liberators have been taken out. The Vikings, hero just dancing back and forth. He's built so many cannons, he's completely shut down any attempt at a counterattack. And the shield batteries, the static defense in the front line. While he can't easily replenish his health. But now, no, there's nowhere to go. The defense is way too strong across the board. Planetary and multiple multiple planetaries, multiple siege tanks. This is... Okay, I said he was the direct strike Protoss, but I didn't think it'd be so literal. We're just gonna have one fight. We're gonna keep rebuilding rounds of units, and eventually someone will die. Hero has not had a significant income lead. And ByuN is actually mining from an entire half the map. Hero's only advantage is that center base. That observer providing a whole bunch of extra vision, despite the fact it is revealed when it's in siege mode now. The Tempest count is at 7, 8, 10 Tempests. Tempests! I'm here all night. Like and subscribe. The Tempest strategy. Another ship is here as well. The scan, that observer. So far, observers have so much vision in siege mode that even the Viking, like, it's just shoot the observer, ByuN. He sees it. Just making sure it finally gets taken out, almost incidentally. There's still a nuclear missile in the bank. Obviously, he wants to break this location. The Tempest just unleashing volley after volley, and a kill with every single one of them. The Templar come up, the Templar go out. You can't explain that. And the Tempest still filing. Fine. Okay, what are words? I start messing up words and they may never come back. The bio is back on the menu. Hero just continues retreating back to his shield battery wells and slurping up the energy from them. He has enough. The EMPs also work on the shield batteries, but you need... the shelling will continue until morale improves. The brawl continues. The Vikings have killed a whole lot, but not enough. ByuN, slowly but surely being chipped down as the Tempests... I stopped myself that time. He moved the tanks, the last surviving tanks. But ByuN is actually turning this into a The planetary falls! After like 10 minutes straight of shelling. That planetary, like Theseus's planetary there. There was no way any of the original health of that planetary was still there by the end, but repaired probably 10 times over. But eventually, does Hero realize? He's gonna notice before the planetary is done, most importantly. Zealots to the north. There's some Templar to storm the repair, and ByuN just gonna eat it. And oh wow, 24 SCVs just kind of dead. He can replace. He's building 7 at a time, but actually, Heroes. Yep, he gets the planetary with that little storm battle group. And ByuN just abandoning the base. Yet another ship is on the way. Wow, what a laundry list. We're getting to the edges of the UI on the losses here. Just need a Phoenix and like a Dark Templar to be added in. A nuclear launch detected. The nuke spirals into the sky. The ghost is right there. And now the nuke will fly off into the sunset and probably create a new one. The Tempest count is disgusting. Now Hero's cutting out some of his own units in order to deal with this. The nuke not nearly as dramatic as maybe we were hoping for. And ByuN just, well, Hero just dismantling this style with, it's not ease, all right? But Hero's destroyed 15 missile turrets, 4 planetary fortresses. ByuN has taken out 4 cannons and a pylon. That's all the buildings he's destroyed. This hero, it's not even a planetary, which creates quite an awkward. The battle probes, and the Marines are stimming in. This is actual economic damage. I mean, it's a win-win. Either he frees up the supply, or the probes kill it. Surprisingly, like, he kills 5 SCVs, which was 1/10 of ByuN's economy. Hero just suffocating him with a pillow right now. A pillow made of... You know? Alright. But, another wave. The first probes did so well. The mules will drop, and a mule canyon is carved out of the mountain of an income lead. Can I park here? I don't... Apparently, yes. But now, there's always the massive risk. Whenever Protoss... Hero, he's killed 3 more. The probes are... Well, these are probably the most successful probes of the entire year. Hero now aggressively expanding. The orbital command's on the run, so ByuN still has more army supply. There's always the risk that the late game Terran army, with EMPs and the sheer DPS of ByuN. The thing is, I think Hero's backstopped this well. In very atypical fashion, but like I said, Hero never half-asses anything. A full moon right here, if you would, of Protoss. The shield batteries numbered in the dozens. The Tempest as well. The Templar underneath. He's committed to the static offense strategy. In the tactical recall to the north, he baits the army to the south, and he recalls it with a mothership to the north. Ye old bait and switch. He just obliterates the orbital command. And ByuN, he doesn't have the gas to compete. The war may have been fought with nuclear missiles, with Vikings and Tempest, but the next one will have to be fought yet again with Marines and SCVs and Marauders, as he doesn't have the gas to go back up the tech tree. The Vikings knocking down some of this, but the orbital command will die incidentally. The Viking count is dwindling, and ByuN simply cannot keep up. Hero has navigated his way to making this Protoss army composition not only look viable, but completely unstoppable. The carriers into mass tempests against ByuN's full turtle Terran that has plagued Protoss for many months now. Hero just breaks out a completely different style. And you know what? I didn't have a follow-up to that. I kind of led into something, but it works. It just works. We've seen Classic do something like that, but Classic's always so meticulous. It's like he's portioning out his food, like, I'm gonna do this and that and that. Hero's just like, what if I built 50 shield batteries and 50 cannons? They're like, that's too much. He's like, how about 30? All right, we can work with that. 30 shield batteries, 30 cannons, and half the bases on the entire map. Also, we missed in the last game, but Hero religiously sends out his first probe. Definitely a believer in the emotional damage and the physical, but mostly emotional damage that first probe can do. Now, again, this is another one of the reverse bell curves where Bronze League heroes are like, probes are the worstest unit. They're too good. They're too annoying. And most players are like, but you lose so much. You literally lose 1/12 of your economy in the early game, sending out the probe early. What are you going to do? Mildly annoy an SCV? And then Hero's like, they're so annoying. We're going to mess them up. All right? Nobody likes probes in their base, but I do. That's my Hero impression, apparently. Yikes. Moving on. Hero leading the SCV around. Of course, you pretty much have to have an SCV tagged on it. And we're not going to pretend the minerals for repair are meaningful, but Hero not Reaper walling. A Zealot before Cybercore. He's just going for it. I don't know what he's going for exactly, but he's going for it. No. Will he cancel the Zealot for a Nexus? No. It's priced in. And the Probe, he knows the timings. Though, oh, and he sees the Marine. Ah! Gets back in. Does he scout? I don't know if he wasn't confident in actually killing off or escaping the Marine, or if he thought he could maybe get that last glimpse no matter what. But of course, he does what you least expect, which is double back with a probe who's actively dying to a Marine. But the fact that it was a Marine means this Zealot has... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, this Zealot has a better chance, but I feel like ByuN this time... Notice how far away from the ramp it is? Yeah. He's like, he's just going to do something dumb. Last time, it was far enough away that an Adept Shade wouldn't see it, so hero just sent the Adept physically up. Eventually it died, but still. This time... Look at the Zealot. Just gonna come up. And is it gonna see? No. This time the command center is far enough away. He's coming back. He's gonna check the other side. Adept Shade. He's just tapping on the... Okay, you're gonna have to go a little further than that, ByuN. He just sees it again. It was kind of... So he saw one gas. He's not gonna kill the depot, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, is he gonna do... the jump? No. So technically, incredibly technically, you can dodge the Widowmine hit with the Adept Shade timing. Technically. Now they can just unburrow it at that exact time. Why is there a sentry? What are you doing? I think he's going for it this time. No, he just keeps sniffing around with the nose of the Adept. And the orbital command, he's force-fielding the ramp. He's going to mildly annoy that orbital and block the CC from landing, because why not? Hallucinated Phoenix, this is a disaster. He spotted, well, there's a Widowmine drop on the way across. Huh. Hero? Looking to maximize ByuN's annoyance, and I think he succeeded, but what did it? He didn't lose anything, so in fact the only thing lost was that one brave probe, despite the shenanigans. Boosts the medevac, spots the stalkers. Blink is still a long way off. Jams the Widowmine in. But we see the the sacrifice recalculating. He has to narrow down. Stop it, hero. So, he keeps bringing units into range, and ByuN keeps actively retargeting the mine, resetting the lock-on. And... well, of all the defenses against Widowmines I've ever seen, that was certainly one of them. Hero. Yeah. It could have gone better. It could have gone worse. It was somewhere in the middle. Liberators, the follow-up. A single Marine. The bunker's not quite done, but it's done enough. There's enough Marines. A Viking and a Liberator headed out. The Widowmine, bruised, but still intact inside the medevac. Meanwhile, the Stalkers get into the main. End up blinking out in time. There's an Immortal on the way, as well as Charge, all before his third Nexus started. So, just gonna fly away. The medevac still. The Three Musketeers back here, just staring it down. ByuN with the laundry list of starport units in order to annoy the Protoss as much as possible. The Stalkers patrolling. Gonna snipe off a couple more Marines. And a Robo Bay. Recalls back. Liberator dealt with. He's just targeting the probes. Gets a couple. There's still the Widowmine drop back there. Hero can see the medevac. Alright, he knows the map is dark and full of Terrans. And ByuN, third command center. Thinking about it, thinks again and puts it at the natural, which seems a little more vulnerable, but I guess can kind of work as a choke point. And hero, his third base was quite delayed overall. Still significantly quicker than ByuN's third, but hero making sure... Yeah, he's sick of it. Just get him out. Just can't... Sorry, Indy. Viking drops down. The probes notice. One of them is a little bit slow, was caught in the assimilator. And, well, oh, some quick push-ups there. The Immortals absolutely obliterate it. But he sees 2 Immortals, which is kind of important info. Now Colossi in production. Extended Thermal Lance is on the way. Mine's much further along. And Ghost Academy for ByuN. I think he misread this. The Ghost Academy before Vikings means he thinks it's Templar yet again, as opposed to Colossi. Hero found one of the most, like, surprisingly cinematic looking and tucked in areas for his fort. I've never seen anyone build anything there. Leave it to Hero to find new spaces in order to jam his buildings in awkward ways. But yeah, it makes sense. It's actually like the most defensible location on the map. The double forge right near the foyer at the bottom of the ramp. Well, the Widow Mine drop, still chilling. Waiting for its moment. Could be waiting a long time. Well, maybe until Hero jams the select all army hotkey. Ah! Or until now. He's like, I'm just dealing with this now. And citizens arrest. The probes get the kill. And we're moving on. That's enough about that. The army is moving to the left. Hero's gathering up on the right. A scan with the observer. And Hero moving in at this exact moment. The Chew Toy Supply Depot doing its job. Gonna take it out. Scans the army. 2 fully ranged Colossi is still a lot to deal with. I think he canceled. Well, he's immediately starting Vikings. Ghosts are never bad to have against Protoss, but against Colossi, definitely not the ideal. As being light units now, for the first time almost ever, if not ever, I'm pretty sure ever, makes the Colossi uniquely suited to dealing with them. They are the only unit, the only practical unit that does bonus damage to light. Technically, Adepts and Phoenixes also both do bonus damage to light. And Oracles. All of which would be very concerning if you were using them in any practical fashion against Ghosts. Let's be honest here. Robo 2 and Robo 3. The Brobos on the way. 1-1 now completed as well. And Ruptors being mixed into the composition. Now that's a spicy meatball. As Hero, how many Colossi? 4 Colossi already. 10 minutes in, another not no rush, but very passive game until nearly maxed out. ByuN seeming slightly less inclined to be a full turtle, but only slightly. Hero with vision all over the map, putting up spylons everywhere. He's got only 6 gateways. He's doubling the number now in the production tab. The Widow Mines blinks away, draws the fire away as well. Stagger blinks down a sensor tower. And ByuN's just going forward with most of the bio. Where are the Colossi? Moving up. It's just Zealots here, which, not ideal. 3 Ruptors at a time for Hero. No Stargate in production, but, I mean, he's barely doing... There's barely any Vikings. There's no Liberators. So, it's certainly not time for the Stargate quite yet, as the Stalkers blink forward to pick off a Marauder and a Viking in turn. The Mass Ruptor is... Well, it's a dangerous game for both sides. Those Disruptors just as deadly to the Protoss as they are to the Terran. Just matters who's firing them off. And, well, that's really the issue, isn't it? The Zealots just coming in, trying to draw some fire, covering for the Disruptors. Wow, it worked! The sacrificial zealots ate just enough of the siege tank fire. What a play by hero. And another disruptor mildly annoys one ghost. Another one coming up almost empty. So the initial genius blunted somewhat by the fadeaway attacks being almost entirely useless. But hero getting like Nexus number 7 or 8 now. Yeah, 6 and 7 on the way. The Spylons and the probes and everything over to the right side, just in case ByuN tries a little more multi-pronged action, but he hasn't seemed inclined to do so. The Vikings looking for their shots. Disruptor shot, double barrel, swings around and smacks into the siege tank. And the Disruptor's finding a lot of success thus far. But the Vikings are chasing down the Colossi. One will topple. A second, stutter step down. Well, stutter flight, whatever it is. And ByuN dismantling the key parts of the unit composition. 3 robotics facilities. But, wow, look at heroes just like chicken pylons across the map. It's like a chicken pox reference I was going for, which I don't know why that popped into my head, but I don't. Yeah, he's lighting up the map. But a fusion core is on the way, as ByuN already intending on that late game. Hero with no he's keeping the starport unit count down. And that's really why you would ever need the Stargate in the first place. When the Liberators start... Hero has now taken all but one base. And I think he's blocked this base with the pylon and can't actually build a Nexus there. I don't know if that'll stop him in the long term. Hero building multiple Nexi at a time for the last several minutes. Just chips away at some of his own zealots. The last Colossi will be knocked down by the Vikings. Disruptor popped easily as it strays a little bit too close. More depowered. Depowers a full warp in. Hero losing a whole lot of supply and a bunch of probes as well. He's building 6 at a time, so that's not like a major concern, but Colossi popping out. Hero warps in another round of charge lots. He's building 3 Raptors at a time. The Viking count knocked down to 3. Colossi at 2. Another fadeaway shot wards him away for now. More cannons and shield batteries as Hero becomes more entrenched across the map. He lost a base down the center, but he successfully expanded to gestures to pretty much everything else. ByuN scans the top left corner and realizes that he might have to broaden his horizons a bit. A Liberator is almost taken out, I think, by the cannons, and then moves over to the bottom right. Meanwhile, trading fire down the center. Comes up completely empty with a Disruptor shot. Another one. Clips a couple Marauders. The Colossus, nearly gone. The Disruptors have recharged. Wards away. ByuN still relying entirely on the bio ball, as opposed to a multi-pronged pressure. Knowing that all it takes is a pretty mediocre fight out of Protoss, and he might be able to carry the momentum through. Just dueling in the center of the map. Disruptor shot again. Doesn't find the hit. Probes transferring in random directions. A Liberator somehow made its way out to the base in the bottom right. It's just a... So the Liberator doesn't quite have the vision. So, another double barrel. The Disruptors continuing. Hero with some emotional support fields. It's not enough. Hero has now lost twice as many resources. And counting, though he's going to slide some charge lots into the third base. No planetary. Loses a Nexus, but drags back a lot of the army, so this is still happening. 7 SCVs dead. A few more thrown into the meat grinder. Another Disruptor. Heroes at 3/3 upgrades with +1 shields on the way. Meanwhile, ByuN +3 weapons, working on +3 infantry armor. He's got +2 ship weapons as well, which is a huge upgrade for the Liberators especially. Able to 2-shot Stalkers. 1 shot after EMP. And he has a few of them mixed in, throws it in, but Disruptor shot popped at the last second. Planetary to help out. And Hero... He can't stop, he won't stop. 20,000 resources lost to 12. Which is... And the numbers are only going to keep going up, obviously, but... Building armor is on the way for ByuN. Quite a priority in this sort of game. Actually very helpful against the Zealots. Not helpful at all against Disruptors. Decent against Stalkers. But 4 Liberators at a time. Multiple command centers. hero shows no inclination towards the Stargate sort of style, but instead the wave defense pops one disruptor after another, has to dodge away from a third. The planetary fortress dodged in the midst of everything. So hero will suffer a defeat in terms of units lost, but economically, once again undercuts ByuN. But 5 more command centers in production. He knocks out the Nexus at the 3 o'clock that was squatting in what should be his base. A Venn diagram of freedom, as 3 Liberators will siege up down the center. Shoots his own command center. Yep, everything works. High-sec auto-tracking is now on the way, finally. Hero, 14 gateways, 3 robotics facilities. Will swing around. But he still hasn't really denied... he keeps coming down the center. He didn't rebuild his base on that side. Fires off a disruptor. The Widow Mine will be taken out. That is one thing they're quite good against. Making 1. Curves around, takes out the sensor tower. Softens up the Marauders. Meanwhile, the Bio Army to the top left corner. How much did he bring back? ByuN wasn't going to risk it, though maybe he could fight that. Yeah, there's a lot of charge lots there. Adding in some more Colossi yet again. Hero mixing in different flavors of robo units. Is 2 orbital commands. So ByuN not going full planetary, but he's going to try to funnel the units. And with raid, here we go! 7 more cannons. It's taken a little longer to get here, but Hero is battening things down. He goes, he blinks past. He's literally walled it. It's working perfectly. The Protoss funnel. Hero blinks past and jams up his own Zealots inside of both a Liberator and Planetary Fortress range. Literally the ideal possible scenario. Death Valley. Hero has lost 10,000 more minerals, but he's mined 12,000 more. He's lost 300 more gas, but he's mined 3,000 less. A Shrine to Dark is on the way, and very notably, no Stargate. Despite the overlapping liberation zones, despite the Vikings knocking down his Colossi almost before they can get anything done. Still, no Stargate. He's like, I already did my Stargate game. That was so boring. All right, I'd rather send 500 Zealots to their death than build a Stargate again. This is typical Hero, though. He finds a strategy he likes, but if he doesn't like it, he might not ever see it again. Even if, like, a $10,000 tournament is on the... What? The Probes deciding to take a quick sabbatical? There's probably a Liberators? I actually don't know. Does Hero know? He has hotkeys for his probes. Why are your probes hot? Why does he have a hotkey? He has 2 control groups. 1 for 9 Stalkers and 1 for 11 probes. The rest of his army he's controlling through various means. Well, the double D's of destruction will finally come online, though. The Disruptors and the Dark Templar, both dastardly deeds and devious delineations, potentially. A Liberator, liberating 4 probes in the top left corner. The Stalkers warped in. Hero blunks under it. Will be dealt with. And Colossus, a natural predator of a refinery, as you can see here. Yikes. The 12 Liberators. It's getting uncomfortable here. And Hero still no Stargate. Well, here come the Liberators. The Disruptors underneath. But it's tied. ByuN has absolutely too much liberation. And he's asking Hero, would you like a taste of liberty? To which Hero says, I literally can't have a taste. I don't have a mouth. How did you say that, says ByuN. And we're not going to follow this logic any further. We'll see if Hero follows this strategy even further down into the units lost disparity. As you simply cannot... You can't do it. Don't do it! He wants to blink in so badly. There are 13 Liberators. And he's not even maxed out. ByuN, he's not building any units. I'm not sure what the plan is. There was a recall somewhere to the bottom right corner. There's 3 Liberators just annexing this mineral line. ByuN is literally not building units, despite the fact he's not maxed out and he has money. I don't understand it. He's like, well, I've reached the apparently 13 Liberators is the unit count. Did he forget production? EMP, Disruptor, pops it, Disruptor, pops it. Those Disruptors popped like overripe tomatoes. But oh no! He finally lands a shot. The hubris! And now ByuN refills the bio. If he stops... Alright, they're the Liberators. How many Liberators is too many? He's just going to scan the entire side. 9 orbital commands. And okay, the Liberators are finding angles that are almost untouchable from the ground. Yet, hero! When the Liberator transition began, where was the Stargate? When the planetary fortresses outnumbered the Nexi, where was the Stargate? When the probes were slaughtered by the dozen, where was the Stargate? Six more Liberators. He knocked out a few in the corner. He's gonna take out another base. I mean, hero has the money. Oh, hero. Hero just decides he's not gonna go Stargate this game. Maybe he's doing like a challenge for his YouTube channel. Which, please send me a link. It's like beating literally everyone while not building half the units I should. Winning tournaments while losing twice as many resources. So far, it's not quite that bad. 26 to 39,000. He warps in 10 Dark Templar. Not all heroes wear cloaks, but hero does. Well, he got it. Meanwhile, he just restarts. He could just float this command center over, but... And technically, it's only mildly long-distance mining. Because there's still a planetary relatively close, but technically... Okay, I mean... So he lost 14 Dark Templar. We're not counting the command center still counts in the resources, but 14 Dark Templar, and then during the fight, everything else there. But some Liberators caught in transit. Oh my god. Hero is throwing away so many units. The SCVs are holding him. Hero. I mean, 14 Stalkers warped in. 3 more Colossi. Is it working? Well, it's certainly not unemployed. Hero comes in again. The most dangerous force field, and then he uses it. He used a force field and said, "Watch out!" I can't tell. Maybe Hero has all his spells on the same hotkey, and he just hits them randomly. I can't rule it out. Wait, isn't that just grid keys? No! Like, they're all on a mouse button. So, he just... Hello, darkness, my old friend. Wow. Hero, the things he will do to not build a star... He hit his entire year's quota of Stargates in the last game. Oh, my. Oh, sweet Tassadar. It's a massacre. Well, that unit's lost to spell. Oh, my. This is... a disaster. Hero. Are we watching baseball? Or are we watching StarCraft 2? Because Hero is throwing so hard right now. He just lost like 10,000 resources for almost nothing. Here come 3 Colossi. He was freeing up supply. He does come in with the Colossi, but here comes another wave. Well, and then we'll lose this army. In 1 minute, Hero lost 9,500 minerals, and counting, by the way, because this is still a double planetary, with 10,000 minerals and 4,200 gas to 4,223. 110 blinks. Are you fucking kidding me? Recalling 6 stalkers? That's ridiculous. Yeah, that was... He's like, I will lose 80 supply of Colossus Stalker. But those 6 Stalkers, they're the only ones who succeeded, so they deserve the recall. So they can go do the same thing again. Hero, give it, then hero. ByuN is broke, but he's not broken. Disruptor shot. Nothing but net. And by that I mean, didn't hit anything. I didn't... ByuN just trundles across. Hero. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it. And I may never... I don't know why I try to. Game 1, he just showcased the most decisively effective anti-turtle Terran, like, late-game Protoss style. Game 2, he's like, yeah, that's enough. Boring! Sitting around building Tempest when I could be losing 156 Zealots, which seems low, but then he realized he lost 122 Stalkers. So, well, another wave. The Marauders, that's just so many gateway units. The Zealots are charging forth, the Stalkers blinking as well. And Hero is banking on his bank, which there's also a Ghost with Cloak in here. I don't know where it came from, but it's here now. Just kind of incidentally. Also the Disruptor shot. Over to Shaq at the free throw line. There's still a pylon in this corner somehow. And Hero has now lost 67,000 resources. He's broke. No Stargate. He's mined out of 4 or 5 bases. The Stalkers will come into Planetary Alley again. And the Planetaries will rack up the kills. He gets a couple Liberators. But now ByuN doesn't know this for sure, but the fact that Hero cannot rebuild. ByuN still has a near equal amount of... So the only advantage were the side bases. And, well, the mass TTs! He just blinks on him! Eviscerates a couple Marauders, and yeah, those are TTs. They might still save the day. Oh, Hero. Maybe this is part of his method. Instead of figuring out what works and just continuing using that until it doesn't, he just... chaos, all right? It's like evolution. It's not necessarily planned, but instead it's just whatever works. And right now, the Darwinian Protoss of just ignoring the fact a Stargate exists is certainly in flux. Another planetary. The Disruptors are also out here. And he fires a shot around the corner. ByuN eats one of them. The Bio, Hero down 25 supply. But he snipes off a couple more medevacs. Fires off another set of shots, but there's nothing to stop this in the top left. EMPs the Nexus to prevent any sort of recall. He recalls the probes. Which, yeah, sure. But, well, the DT is being hunted down. There's still 8 orbital commands, which... Oh, the planetary finally got... bait and switch. You know, despite everything, Hero has now denied... ByuN is barely mining. I mean, it's not like Hero's rolling in income. He has half the army supply, but he does have disruptors. I don't know, Kev. There's still a Widow Mine. I think that Widow Mine's been there for the last, like, 25 minutes. Well, they're both broke. He just fired off one of his shots. There is not enough... Even if the Disruptors get maximum damage hits, which they will not... I think that's too much. ByuN just tearing through everything. It's just Stalkers. His army is 17 Stalkers and 1 Dark Templar. And the Dark Templar is just, don't bring me into this. Like, not after all this. And What a disaster piece of a game. Hero giveth and hero taketh away. From hero. What are you doing? No Stargate. No Storm. No hope. Another round of Dark Templar. We'll actually get the base down the center. And then he'll throw 2 Gs into the chat and ByuN strikes back. What? Why are you like this? Hero with the outlier Protoss. Anyways, we're all tied up. Old Republic. So, I think it's time. Fun fact, completely changing gears. The story of this map. So this map is based on the very loose but noticeable. There are several sorts of maps we've had throughout StarCraft 2 history, but they all follow kind of a set of layouts. This is the Cloud Kingdom layout, where you have 3 bases essentially on a platform with a ramp up to the natural area, known as one of the most defensible setups, and clearly based on Cloud Kingdom from Wings of Liberty. And then there was another version, which was early Legacy of the Void, just over 10 years ago. The Eternal Empire. And here we go with another version, Old Republic. So, just to reiterate, Cloud Kingdom, Eternal Empire, Old Republic. I do appreciate what they've done there. The narrative continues. There were probably some more in there that didn't follow the theme, and I'm just leaving those out, but the 3 most iconic and clearly following that same setup. Why is this probe the way it is? Not to judge, but seems like he intentionally did not. He took a circuitous path. I guess he was looking for proxy racks, maybe. But he's going to be there in time to block the base, which, well, some real trouble there. Yep. CV comes. How you doing, Billy? Not good, Sarge. We don't pay you to do good. We pay you to do work. I can't work if I'm dead. Well, let me consult. Oh, sorry. Which hero are we getting? Take your guess. I mean, what are you doing? Why are you like this? Crouching probe, hidden nothing, a hidden pylon. He's waiting to see if anything comes across the map. And if it's just A-moved, it won't see it. And since it's a probe, the probe will not go out and attack like an adept would. So he's got the probe, the probe scout. That's a Lyote. It can smell it. Surprisingly salty. And a Twilight Council on the way. No Robo. Yet. The 1-1-1 for ByuN. And where do we go from here? A Hellion. The lack of Robo is curious. Not necessarily, well, and that was the probe scout that got taken out. Now, the scouting Hellion is scouring around because it's a little suspicious for that probe to still be sticking around, but there wasn't any pylon out there. There's nothing to see, but he doesn't know that, obviously. Hero dancing. ByuN dancing the Hellion back and forth. Medevac is loaded up, sent across. Blink. This is quite a quick blink. He continues chronoing. It's not quite going to be done by the time the medevac comes across, but it's going to be close. So if it overstays, it's welcome. And the Terrans are rarely welcome anywhere, so not hard to do. then there's a good chance it could get taken out. Well, Stalker's in position, the probes, and sacrifices the little bit of Prairie Dog micro, but he takes it out and mitigates the most dangerous part of all this. The Stalker's more than ready. Oh, Raven to follow it up. Another Lyode. The Stalkers are patrolling, looking for exactly this. Behind it, we have Charge. So, could go either way. Could be a Robobank, could be a Templar Archives, could be none of the above. It's hero. So, conventional wisdom need not apply. And probably cannot. The Raven spotted. The Observer. Been like, stop doing my job for me. And, well, just gonna hang out in the dead space here. Already knew the third base was on the way, but ByuN is moving out. He's got the Marines, the Siege Tank, and another Siege Tank in the medevac as well. This is a dangerous timing. There's only 8 Stalkers to help deal with it, but here's gonna move out to directly engage, ideally before the tanks are sieged up, and pick off some of the Marines if possible. Giving ByuN maybe an opportunity to move in with the Raven. He does. He's just going to slap down some auto turrets right before the shield battery is done. But hero's starting to pick this apart. Charge is still a little while off. Some very slick... Oh my, he got that stalk! Help me! Help me, step stalkers! How would we help you? Just wait. Oh, it was very stressful. I know. The stalker found a... Apparently you can get stuck there. Fun fact. For everyone but that stalker. And the Blank Stalker's just continuing to chip away at the Marine count. There's more than enough, and if he sieges up the tanks, he risks losing them. But if he doesn't siege up, obviously, he's going to continue losing Marines and Marauders. A Robo-Bay on the way, the Raven at the natural. Auto turret tries to target down, doesn't quite land it. Charge lots down the center, discovering those siege tanks. The Observer taken out dramatically. And now the Raven outside the third will just fly right past. ByuN just started a third command center, which is him just now admitting that this attack is probably not going to get it done. I believe he saw the robotics bay with the Raven, so he knows the timing of potential splash damage. And the fact that hero's been so active on the map has prevented almost everything else. But hero, even more active ByuN, he just completely circumvented. ByuN just hanging out. And now hero just sauntering and gets into the main. He's walking around like he owns the place. And who's to say he doesn't? Now, does he recall the Stalkers before the attack? ByuN decides not to go back, but instead will go all the way forward. The Raven survived all this, and ByuN is knocking on the door. Anti-armor missile, Dorito dusting all the zealots. They'll be chewed through easily. The probes are pulled off the line. The battle probes, desperate to get something done. The Widow Mine still not finding a shot. It actually will hit the Warp Prism. Oh no! It's a disaster for hero. Oh, hero digging far too deep and far too greedily. And what was a pretty decent position, but he finally microed his way out of it. ByuN with the anti-armor missile out of the ill-fated Raven. Its last act to launch that missile. And, well, he turns what was a precarious position into a strong one. Now, looking at it after the smoke clears, it's not a overwhelming lead for ByuN. In fact, it's arguably just even. Which is kind of odd, but as ByuN doesn't have a third command center landed, he killed 24 probes in total, about 18 of them with that attack directly. But hero already had a third nexus for quite a while, and ByuN is just now landing his third command center. Part of the reason hero took so much damage is because he built so many probes. So, probes not well known for their frontline activities, at least not for long, but they bought just enough time to drive ByuN back, and maybe with the Colossi now standing above the field and another few Warpins, Especially the fact that hero committed so many charge lots to the other side that ByuN is feeling like he has to come back home. The Widow Mines, though, will undercut this dramatically. Mostly splashing over the Zealots. Hero, the charge lot, 6 SCVs dead. And any attempt at a 4th base will be shut down, but Hero still has quite an economic lead. And the fact is, ByuN on 2 bases, he's not building Vikings. He barely has any medevacs. It's 4 medevacs, which is enough. But not as many as he'd like, especially before going Vikings. He's going to have to, but the Colossi boosting past the emotional support field. Colossus just steps on it and says, what are you doing? Another force field, a little bit more effective, motivated now. And the 4th Nexus behind it. As Hero, I think, has recovered from his losses and puts himself in a solid position with the Colossi. 2 of them already. A 3rd one popping out before a single Viking is above the field. No 2nd starport. ByuN in a... he has the army, but if he loses 1 fight, it's really the starport units and the robo units. That's the real duel. The Marines and Marauders, the Zealots and the Stalkers, they're all important, but only to keep those units alive. The force multipliers. As we saw last game, eventually the Liberator count and the Vikings got so high the robo units were effectively invalidated. That didn't stop Hero from building them, but we saw how that went. So, Hero with the Templar Archives on the way. He's got 69 probes. He's going to stop right there because he knows that's nice enough. Meanwhile, the Bio cutting off the Stalkers yet again. Stalkers have had a rough go of it this series. The Bio army out in the midst. But Hero, well, will he actually go Storm? Or are we just going to see some Archons? The Stalkers, the Vikings can't really afford any losses as they try to go forward. A whole lot, 21 Marauders and 24 Marines. Really leaning on the Marauders in order to try to take out the Colossi. Meanwhile, EMP softens up some of the Stalkers. 2nd starport's now in the way. ByuN kind of begrudgingly again adding on production. Landing that 4th command center. Planetary Fortress is on the way, and we've seen that be quite a stopping block for Hero before. And if Hero wasn't able to break it initially, well then, there's the risk that we go into the later game. And who knows which Hero we're going to get then. But 2-2 is about to complete. Hero nearly maxed out. He's got 3 Colossi. It's not going to get any better than this. He's got a Warp Prism alongside. The Planetary's not quite done yet. The Warp Prism puts itself on the front line to save some Stalkers, which is quite a move. Gonna warp in another round. The charge lot's out in front. ByuN's still a long way off the 2-2 upgrades. He needs to try to use the Planetary Fortress as part of the backstop for the defense. Ideally to distract the Colossi. He's got quite a setup here for maximum Colossus distraction. EMP washes across. And Hero, dancing around, prancing forward, blinks forward. And the Colossi are attacking the Planetary, but the Immortals are helping blast through. He just deals with it immediately. Charge lot's warped in. The Colossus, what a save! Slips into the prison. I mean, it dies immediately after, but still. He got the 4th base, he got 13 SCVs, and he whittled down a lot of the army. Mission accomplished by Hero. And ByuN, Hero's already got +3 done. He chrono boosted that so hard. Just slapping the chrono boost right into it like he's on the Tour de Franzia there. And 2 Colossi, 2 Archons at a time, filling in with more charge lots. Hero with a surprisingly measured response. And proving that he can turn on a dime if he needs to make $1. GG! Hero with just a surgical dismantling. Surgery with massive Colossi thermal lances, but still surgery nonetheless. Cauterizes ByuN and stops the bleeding in this game. That made sense. Moving on. Hero on match point. And he does it again. hero goes from the most concerning and confusing and confounding late game back to an incredibly well-measured, near-perfect micro and just executes ByuN with a precise timing. You know, that's part of the danger. You never know which hero you're gonna get. Mom always said hero's like a box of chocolates. Which didn't make sense at the time and still doesn't, but still. The probe sent out at the beginning of the game, because of course it is. The SCV. Hey! Hey! He's here! He's back again! He calls himself Shady. Shady's back? Tell someone. I don't know. Sorry. I don't... The probe. Gonna just take a little nibble at everyone. Share the love. Not how they characterize it, but, you know. Just being friendly. Two gas from ByuN. So, not willing to let the early game go by without at least some sort of shenanigans. hero. Interestingly, ByuN has not... This is the first time ByuN's building a Reaper in the early game. hero has not done much for Reaper walling. Not that it's necessarily... In my opinion, it's sometimes more of a liability than it is a boon. Especially if they don't build a Reaper, obviously. But ByuN building a Reaper for the first time. And maybe trying to exploit exactly that. Or maybe just mixing it up. I think he built a Reaper in game 1, actually. So, I'm just saying things. Which is most of my job. But usually I like those things to be accurate. That's the dangerous part, right? Like, if I'm right 90% of the time, that 10%, it's just like statistics. They're made up. The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster. Wait, did he see the Reaper? He did. He waited until it was out of vision range, and then canceled the shade for the ultimate bait and switch. But here we go, the dance up and down, play the hokey pokey and shade it all about. And he actually completes the shade. And the Reaper now chasing the ghost of the Adept, but he noticed and backs off. I think the Adept saw him as well. But wait! hero! The duel continues. Some of the most clever micro here. The Twilight Council is on the way back at home. A starport for ByuN, but 2 Marines are not enough to deal with this. It's painful, but the Adept could easily kill the Marine. Does he cancel? No. That Marine will have a story to tell. Whoever wants to listen. Nobody does, but, you know, he's going to try anyway. Reshields. Wait, another Adept. The problems are escalating. That SCV. Well, this is not... They're not getting out of this one. He's going for the Marine. So he delays the command center. He gets a Marine. He loses 2 Adepts. Physically not worth it when it comes to the cost of the trade. But emotionally... Well... The awkward part here is that hero now has exactly 1 Stalker against a Cyclone and a Reaper. And he doesn't have a shield battery. So that's problematic. A second Stalker's about to come out. ByuN being very careful not to waste the lockout. But a second Stalker baits him in, bounces both, and that means the Cyclone will escape, which is probably best case scenario here for ByuN. Cloak Banshee on the way behind. Quite a move. Robotics facility. This time hero with the most cookie cutter sort of build. It's Blink and a Robo. The Banshee, even if there's an observer, really the best defense against the Banshee is shield batteries, of which hero already has 1. He's moving out, knowing that some sort of starport unit usually comes in around this timing. Did he see the tech lab? No. But, oh, come on, hero. Oh, he's so perfect. He's so beautiful. What is this? Oh, does he kill it? Oh, my. One shot, one opportunity. You never miss your chance to blow. Spaghetti. And one kill, and then it dies. So not exactly the best KD ratio for the Banshee there. Hero with perfect timing. Now, there's no detection for the Banshee back at home, but ByuN is already in an awkward spot considering Hero already has a third. He locks onto the Prism, and, well, he lost the Banshee, but knocking out the Prism is a pretty huge move. Hero not sniping off the Cyclone, and it costs him his Prism. Does he have any way to get vision to the high ground? I don't think so. So now what? I don't... Charge is on the way. ByuN gonna tuck back into his base. More barracks in production. Hero with enough Blink Stalkers to be dangerous. And there's just one siege tank on each base for now, but a second one, a potential second, is already popping out. Two observers. One will get sniped off by that fateful Prism or fateful Cyclone. A second will easily circumvent. And now a Banshee. Pre-cloaking. But he just blocks in! Takes out one of the tanks. Gonna need heavy hits from another siege tank on the high ground, but for now, well, that tank, he strays into range. The Banshee, there's a shield battery at the natural, though. He actually built a shield battery after killing the Banshee, anticipating this exact move. And dancing around towards it. Can you blink up there? Kind of. Did he get another Stalker stuck? Wow. Help me! Step hero! Oh, no. And, well, loses 4 probes and a bunch of Stalkers, so Hero making the match a lot closer here. Very sporting. Not able to chase down the Banshee. Robo Bay's on the way, though. Charge is done. +1 for both sides about the same time. 30 seconds out or so. More gates. Hero at 59 probes against 50 SCVs. Is there a third command center? There is not. So ByuN almost all in on 2 bases. Not quite there yet. He can wait a little bit longer, but if Hero might not even realize it. You might not realize there's not a third command center. And even if he does, might as well. The Observer going to be taking out that Cyclone, getting so much more than you can ever expect out of one. The Colossi. Extended Thermal Lance on the way. If that's done by the time ByuN comes across the map, it's going to be a disaster. Does he pull the boys? Like, he doesn't have a third command center. He's running out of options. Hero is playing like ByuN's just macroing it out. But ByuN doesn't have late game prospects. He's on 2 bases. Once you get past the 10-minute mark, it's essentially, well, the main base will start mining out. The natural won't be too far behind. Mules expedite that process. He's got to bring some SCVs. The Marines getting stim and combat shield momentarily. The Banshee just kind of wanders into the fray. The Marines and Marauders. And the boys are on the way. And this is it. Hero doesn't see the tanks. The tanks see him first. Some charge lots out of the front. Hero actually snipes off a siege tank, gets a Marauder, and, well, ByuN boxing out with SCVs, but Hero cutting down the siege tank count is the win here. 4 siege tanks is a lot, but it's not too much. The fact he's able to take out 2 before a real fight even starts, he's just boxing out. Extended Thermal Lance is almost done. A single Colossus is more than enough if the siege tanks aren't here. A second one is absolutely deadly. There are Liberators above. He's getting more gateways in a very awkward position. But this push It's closing in. The Liberator's over the top. The last chance here for ByuN. The SCV's being incinerated. Stalkers knock out one of the Liberators. Gonna go for the siege tanks as well. And ByuN being dismantled underneath. The tanks, many of them live. Try to target the Colossi. Turns it around, but GG. Hero. One questionable game and 3 decisive ones. Putting him at 3 games to just 1. And he takes home another. Now that it's 6 a.m. Korean time. I can't... These two... Who needs sleep when you could be winning StarCraft tournaments? And Hero, clearly the decisive victor here today. I don't know what happened in that game. Maybe Hero doesn't either, but I'm sure ByuN not complaining. Well, maybe now at the end after the result. But anyways, thank you for watching. I certainly hope you enjoyed as much as I did, or at least half as much. And if you got the means of motivation, we also check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. We'll see you at time. Thank you to our meal tier patrons bringing in the extra minerals. Big Jiggy Devin Door, Kate, Mario Suit, and everyone. If you haven't yet checked out this video, Jimmy picked it out just for you. And I hope to see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.